Shalom, shalom, family. Welcome back to the channel where we break down the scriptures with clarity, precepts, and truth. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the family. This is where edification meets defense of the gospel. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any lesson, street teaching, rebuttals, or deep dives into the word. Let's get into it.
He's a liar.
The devil is a liar, and the Most High is still the Messiah. All praises. Let's get into it, family. Let me get my theme music. All praises, family. Tonight, I just wanted to discuss something with you all. You ever find yourself coming into the truth and you're engaged with other brothers and sisters in the truth? And recently, it seems as if a lot of people are trying to outdo one another, like this is a competition, or you may engage with certain Christians that call themselves debunking Israelites. Tonight, we're going to discuss the spirit of edification versus the spirit of debate. Who did the Most High sin? In these last days, many have risen with platforms calling themselves debunkers. Debunkers of the truth, debunkers of the Israelites, and they claim to follow the Messiah, yet spend their energy mocking, ridiculing, and tearing down those bringing forth the word. The question is, did the Most High send such people for the edification of the saints? The answer is no. Join me as we go into this discussion. Our first verse is going to be coming from the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 2. And this is how it reads. It says, a fool hath no delight in understanding, but his heart may discover itself. So when we read this, this is the motive of mockers: self-promotion, self-glory, and entertainment, not truth-seeking. The Most High established a spiritual order for building up, not for endless quarrels, public strife, or scoffing. We will examine scripture to see who the Most High actually placed in the body and how he commands his servants to operate. The first thing we're going to talk about is the order of gifts in the body. We're going to read about that in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 25. And it reads that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. Verse 26, and whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. Verse 27, now ye are the body of the Mashiach, and members in particular. Verse 28 tells us, and the Most High have set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. There's no office for debunkers or professional mockers listed. Gifts are set for unity, not division. When we read in the book of Romans, chapter 12, and we'll start at verse 6, it says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith. Verse 7, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching. Verse 8, or he that exhorteth and exhortation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. So the prophecy ministry, teaching, exhortation, giving, ruling, and mercy, all are gifts for building the saints. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 9, it says, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. Manifestations of the Spirit are wisdom, knowledge, faith, healing, prophecy, discernment, tongues, interpretation, not carnal argumentation. Numbers chapter 11, verse 17. It says, and I will come down and talk with thee there, and I will take of the Spirit which is upon thee, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear it not thyself alone. So the Spirit given to elders to help bear the burden, not to tear down. So when we come into this truth, why is it that we find so many of our own brothers and sisters trying to outdo one another? We're all trying to make it. Or you find yourself constantly seeing Israelites going back and forth on platforms where people are just mocking and scorning them. Let's look at another precept in Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 20 and 21. It says, and are built up upon the foundations of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua Hamashiach himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all building fitly framed together groweth unto an holy temple in the Mashiach, built on apostles and prophets, Yahushua as the cornerstone. Keep that in mind. We're going to go to the book of Ephesians. We're going to go to chapter 4, and we're going to read 11 to 16, excuse me. And it reads, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahushua, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Yahushua, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed and to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love, this is very important. This is something that my brother always reiterates. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahushua, from whom the whole body fit, joined together and compacted, by which every joint supplieth according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto edifying of itself in love. As we read these verses, we see that the office or the offices given for the perfecting of the saints until the unity of the faith is reached. This is very important to remember, considering the types of people that we will allow ourselves to minister to us as we engage in conversation and try to grow spiritually. Let's continue. When we go to the book of First Corinthians chapter 14, we'll start at verse 3 and read to verse 4. It says, "But he that prophesieth speaketh unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself, but he that prophesieth edifieth the church. He that prophesies edifies, exhorts, comforts the church." This is the opposite of provoking anxiety, ridicule, and division. Now we're going to see the nuance, like the discernment in First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "To another, the working of miracles, to another, prophecy, to another, discerning of spirits, to another, diverse kinds of tongues, to another, the interpretation of tongues. And contending for the faith is Jude 1 and 3. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that you should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. These are biblical, but must be done in meekness." 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 25. "In meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if the Most High peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth." This is why it's important for those who teach, to consider how you're presenting your messages. Are you there to build yourself up by mocking and scoffing others? We're going to look at an example of the servant's conduct. When we look at 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 24, it says this, "And the servant of the Most High must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient." Okay. In Titus chapter 3 and verse 9, it tells us but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. This is the lifeblood of the debunker and their culture. They love foolish questions. They love contention and they love strife. So what we'll do is we'll identify the character of scoffers and scorners, because the Bible tells us to avoid them. Okay, so let's get some precepts to prove that. The first one is going to be found in the book of Psalms chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful." In the book of Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 12, it says, "A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise." So you can see, as if you are on certain platforms like TikTok or YouTube, there are people that no matter what it is that you show them, they don't love to be corrected. They have all the answers. And if you don't agree with them, they're scorning, they're mocking. And you have some people that are newly into this truth that are excited to share just a little that they've been given. And you'll have people try to come and belittle them and speak down to them as if they knoweth nothing. And they're the ones that are entrusted with the truth. And you'll see the spirit of these individuals on many social media platforms. Remember this verse, family. A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. So a scorner hates correction, and he will not be among the wise. Let's look at the next one in the book of Second Peter chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 3 to 7. This is knowing this verse, there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust. We see this now in real time. Let's continue. Verse 4, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. And this scoffing in the last days come in many different ways and verbiage. You know, you have people mocking the children of Israel because the Most High is waking us up in the land of our captivity. Christians love saying that they're going to debunk an Israelite, and they're putting out animated videos about mocking those who desire to keep the laws and be obedient to the Most High while having faith in Yahweh Shai. The Most High prophesied through his word that this would happen. In verse 5, it says, for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. So when we go to verse 6, it says, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. Verse 7 says, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So we see that scoffers in the last day walk after their own lust. Let's continue. Proverbs chapter 14. I'm going to read verses 6 through 9. And it says, a scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth it not. But knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. Verse 7 says, go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is understanding his ways. Salakia, the wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Okay? A scorner seeks wisdom and finds none. Remember that. They want to ask a lot of questions as if they're trying to get understanding and wisdom, but they're only asking questions to certain brothers and sisters in the truth to pick apart what it is that they're saying. They're just waiting to respond because they've already formulated in their mind that they just want to scoff and embarrass. We're going to see what spirit that these people are operating under. Let's continue to Isaiah, Salakia, Proverbs 14 and verse 9 says, fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. Wow. They make a mock at sin. You don't have to keep the laws anymore. They laugh at that. And then they mock the people that are telling them, that are warning them. Listen, family, we have to obey. Lawlessness is abounding by the day. People are becoming more and more wicked by the day. In Isaiah 57 and verse 4, it says, against whom do ye sport yourselves? Against whom make ye a wide mouth and draw out the tongue? Are ye not children of transgression, a seed of falsehood? Those who make a wide mouth are children of transgression. A wide mouth is like a big mouth. This is what we call a big mouth today. Always talking, got something to say, gossiping, scoffing, belittling. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 29 says, judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. So right now they think that by belittling the children of Israel, mocking them for being obedient to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, mocking those brothers and sisters who are laboring for the truth in these perilous times, abusing and scorning those and persecuting those who are bringing out this truth in these last days. Judgments are prepared for scorners and stripes for the back of fools. What spirit are you operating under? What spirit are you entertaining? Why do many of our brothers and sisters go into these lives on TikTok and engage with this foolery as if they're using the Bible for entertainment purposes? This is what the spirit of a scoffer operates under. They're using the word of the Most High to mock and ridicule. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, we'll read verse 16 to 19. It says, these 6 things doth the Most High hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief. In verse 19, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among the brethren. The Most High hates sowers of discord among the brethren. Let's continue. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 10, it says, cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out. Yea, strife and reproach shall cease. How many times again do you see Israelites there constantly trying to convince people that are using their image, their wording, their testimony to build up followers, to use the scriptures and a panel full of people that opposes your understanding to mock and ridicule you? And you'll see people on these platforms constantly trying to go up, prove to me this and prove to me that. And they feel like they have to go and prove something to man. They're not casting out the scorner. Therefore, they find contention and strife. And they wonder why their spirit is not at peace, because they're being used for entertainment purposes. These people have been warned and forewarned over and over again. At some point, family, we have to shake the dust off and let our peace return unto us. Let's continue. Let's look at the book of Jude, chapter 1, 18 to 19. It says, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time, who should walk after their own ungodly lust. These be they who separate themselves, sensual, having not the spirit. Mockers in the last times are sensual, not having the spirit. We're supposed to observe, slow to speak, quick to listen. And while we're listening, we're observing, what spirit is this person operating under? Are they operating under the spirit of edification or the spirit of debate? Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Just recently, there were some Israelite brothers that are saying that salvation is to all nations now, when all along they never counted the cost. They never took the time to sit down and really evaluate what these scriptures are saying. And they also were involved with confirmation from a person that goes by the name of Vocab Malone. someone that they debated and stood in opposition for a long period of time. Now you have brothers or sisters that are coming into this truth and granted the opportunity to partake of this truth. And now they feel like they have to Hollywood information or gatekeep or act like they have to come out with something new to seem more knowledgeable than their other brothers and sisters. And it's very dangerous to really go back and be looked upon as wise in your own eyes, that you know more than the next person, and that you know so much to the point where if they don't agree with you, you're calling them stupid or unlearned, or you're only doing this for likes and views. The Bible gives fair warning. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sights. There are people that have the right spirit that may not be as versed in the scripture, and the Most High sees that and can do more with that person than a person that is well versed like the scribes and Pharisees, but inside they're like dead men's bones. We have to be able to present the message with meekness and humbleness. You never want to go and deter our brothers and sisters from this truth. We're not here to debate, we're not here to entertain, we're not here to massage anybody's emotions. So woe unto those who call evil good and they are wise in their own eyes. Now, this is not going to be a long lesson, so I just want to make two more points. The next thing, if you find yourself like salvation, what if I find myself in a situation where I see someone that is operating under a spirit of debate, a spirit of scoffing, or a spirit of ridicule? What do I do? The scriptures tell us to avoid and mark them. Let's look at 2 John chapter 1, and we'll read verses 10 to 11. It says, if there come any unto you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him the most high speed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. That's a harsh rebuke, but it has to be done. If someone is trying to come into your home and they're not bringing this doctrine with the right spirit, don't receive that individual or individuals into your house. Don't go into their platform. Don't go into their domain. And don't wish them Godspeed. You'll know because it won't sit right in your spirit. Okay? So let's continue. Let's go to Romans 16 and 7. It says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause division and offenses contrary to the doctrine ye have learned, and avoid them. Again, fair warning. Once you see them, you mark them because they're causing division. And that's one of the abominations that the Most High hates, those who sow discord among the brethren. And then you avoid them because they'll try to uproot what the Most High has placed in your spirit. So it's practical in a digital age. Unfollow, mute, or block mocker platforms. Do not hate watch. It fuels their reach. Okay. And I know I have to incorporate this as well, because I see so many people that follow me and that I follow thinking that maybe one day they'll change. I don't tune in all the time, but I may breeze through, but I have to avoid them that cause division and offenses. Now, the next thing is we must seek wisdom the right way. And we'll read about that in the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Ask the Most High for wisdom, and he will give it to you. The Most High gives seed to the sower. Don't just ask for wisdom and don't do anything with it. We have to be active, just like these same scoffers, same mockers, they're active. We have to put our foot and our hands to the plow. There are other people that needs to hear this truth that are still asleep. Let's go to the next verse in the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. So even in these verses, we must be transformed by the renewing of our minds. In the book of Proverbs, it says, reprove not a scorner. How many times have we seen people trying to go up and try to reprove a scorner? I won't call any names, but I'm sure we've all seen these individuals on various social media platforms. Lest he hate thee, rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. See, a wise man love correction. A wise man or wise woman, when I say man, I mean both man and woman. A wise man loves correction because he knows that the Most High corrects those whom he loves. Verse 9 says, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. Right? Don't waste correction on scorners. Pour it into the wise. Pour it into those who want to be poured into, and they will increase. They will be wiser, and they will increase in learning. Don't force this on someone who's going to just misuse it and abuse it. Let's continue. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21, a powerful scripture that says, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Self-explanatory. What we're going to look at now is a few apocryphal books, and then we're going to draw this to a close. In the book of Sirach, chapter 27, or Ecclesiasticus 27, we'll read verses 11 to 12. It says, the discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. A little tongue twister there. If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding. If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time. I mean, if you observe something that's, something don't seem right, be mindful. Don't get caught up in the wording and the smooth speech and the entertainments and things of that nature and the scoffing and the mocking. It seems like some people are just triggered to be more focused when it comes to that type of activity. It says, but be continually among men of understanding. They're the ones that are going to pour into you. Godly speech with wisdom, fools change like the moon. That's it. Sirach chapter 28, verse 8 and 9. It says, abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins. Wow. If I abstain from being contentious and strifeful, thou shalt diminish thy sins, for a furious man will kindle strife. We see this again. As people contend for the truth, people begin to become furious, cut you off, won't let you finish what you're saying. The Bible's already forewarned us, and we're without excuse. In verse 9, it says, a sinful man disquieteth friends, and maketh debate among them that be at peace. What spirit are you operating under? What spirit are you entertaining? Avoid foolish talks. Avoid those who love to debate, and be at peace. Abstain from strife. Let's continue. Sirach 22 and 13 says, talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that hath no understanding. Beware of him, lest thou have trouble and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and thou shalt find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. All praises to the Most High. Just give you a few minutes to just ponder on what was just said. Avoid much talk with a fool. Avoid it. If you want to be at peace within your spirit, you have enough chaos going on outside of this. Be at peace with the Most High. Be around those who are pouring wisdom and knowledge and understanding into your spirit to help quiet all that distraction in everyday life. Don't let that spirit of debate attach itself to you, because what's going to happen is going to bring seven more. It's going to find, oh, this person is at peace. Oh, let's occupy this person's mind, and you're going to find chaos all around you, and you're not going to be at peace because they poured a bunch of foolishness and scoffing and mocking into your spirit. So make sure that you're around those that are wise so that they can pour in understanding through the word of the Most High. Okay, let's continue. Sirach chapter 19, we're going to read 6-8. It says, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil. Rehearse not unto another that which is told unto thee, and thou shalt fare never the worse. Whether it be a friend or a foe, talk not of other men's lives. And if thou canst without offense, reveal them not. Don't go back and start spreading someone else's information that they've entrusted unto you. A sister or brother may be going through a situation, and the last thing that they need is for their information to be talked about, beknownst to them or unbeknownst to them. Because when we speak life or death in our tongues. It says, whether it be a friend or a foe, talk not of other men's lives. And if thou canst without offense, so it is an offense to reveal them. It says, reveal them not. So we continue. We have to make sure that we're ruling our own tongue. We have to get that thing under control sometimes. Sometimes I know mine can be a little reckless, and I have to ask the Most High to help me with that, because sometimes I'm too quick, and I don't want to cut nobody with my tongue, with my words, and I'm working on it. But we all can probably benefit from these verses that we're reading. Let's go ahead and read a few more and bring this into a close. It says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 7, it says, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. There is a time to speak and a time to keep silent. That's one of the strongest things some of us will ever have to do, is wanting to say something and restraining that little bitty member in our mouth that has a lot of power. Zip it up. So in conclusion, we have to obey the call to action. Okay. Let's go to the book of Galatians chapter 22. We read verse 22-23. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, and faith. Verse 23 says, meekness, temperance, against such there is no law. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 26 will be our last verse. How is it then, brethren, when ye come together, every one of you hath a psalm, hath a doctrine, hath a tongue, hath a revelation, hath an interpretation? Let all things be done unto edifying. So my challenge to each and every one of you tonight is, as we begin to close, audit your last 10 comments or shares that you've made on social media. Go back and look at what it is that you commented on left. Did they edify or did they escalate strife? Okay. Until the next time, family, this is Salvation to Israel. I hope that this was edifying to you. If you haven't, you can subscribe to the channel. And those who follow me on Discord, I look forward to our conversation. Peace and blessings. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.